I could change my shirt and lie to you guys that this is a different day, but I'm filming at the same time, and changing this shirt will ruin my hair, which took 2 hours. So we're just going to pretend I'm not wearing the same thing. Cool. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, what's up? My name is Mwangi and I make college related content. That's what I'm trying to say. So yes, in the previous video I read my Common Up essay. Fun, it felt like walking on hot charcoal, but yes. Welcome. And I'm going to talk more, and I'm going to talk about like strategies that I actually wish someone told me when I was writing my essay, like actually helpful strategy, you know, not those pieces of advice that are like useless, that are like look within yourself to find yourself. You're like, what the freak, you just stole that from General Iroh, you know. But yeah, I'm reading from my I'm reading from my iPad, so if you see me looking down, that's where I'm looking, onwards and upwards, you know. I sliced my finger. Let's move on. Watch the previous video if you haven't. Yes, so what is the Common Up essay? It's a required 650 word essay on the Common Application. You should know that by now. If you don't, it's on the part for writing. You'll find it there, personal statement. And why is a Common Up essay important? It's important because of something called holistic admissions. So the admissions office wants to get to know you beyond numbers, beyond your grades, beyond your high school, and they want to know your background and the experiences that shape who you are. And number two, your Common Up essay can help you stand out. It makes a difference between you and the other hundreds or thousands of students with the same or better stats than you. Yeah, so many people have the same stats, and sometimes the essay is the thing that will make the difference whether or not you get accepted. Because like for me, 1510, so many people had that, so many people had 800, so many people had 790, so many people got A's. Like what makes a difference is your essay sometimes. So those two reasons, holistic admissions and the ability to stand out, and the ability to stand out. So let's get into my advice or tips I wish I had before writing. So number one is strategy. Yeah, if you have, and this is a quote that I saw on a website, I'm not sure which one, and it really like helped me. And this is what the quote says: if you have strong qualifications on paper for the colleges you are targeting, the best narratives tend to humanize you. If you have weaker qualifications on paper, the best narratives tend to draw out your passion for the topics or fields of study that interest you and magnify your accomplishments. So I guess there are two types of applicants. Number one, the first one who like your stats are like amazing and your stats are like strong. So like for example, I consider myself that type of applicant. So like my grades and my test scores were quite strong, and so the best approach for me when writing a Common Up essay was to humanize me. Yeah, to instead of writing about like winning a maths contest, which like they already know I'm good at maths, you know, I passed the maths SAT test, they want to know more than that. So I decided to write my essay about my Kikuyu culture because it humanized me. And then the second type of student is, if your qualifications or your statistics are a bit weaker, then write about passion projects that will magnify your accomplishments. Yeah, so if your stats are a bit weaker, then you can talk about like a competition you won or something you overcame or a passion project that you're doing, and it will magnify your accomplishments. It will make you look better. And so I knew that in my supplementaries I would like humble brag about my accomplishments. So in my Common Up, I focused on something that was very personal, that talked about my family and my experiences and where I'm from. Number two is pick the type of essay you want to write and what personality traits you want to show in that essay. So I have like a few examples of a type of essay. So the first one is an emotional essay. Like you want to make that person cry, you want to evoke emotion. These ones are usually about death or chronic diseases. Number two is a funny essay or like comic relief or humor. Thank you. Rude. Humor. Don't force humor, please. If you're not funny, you're not funny. Don't try and force it. You know, not all of us can be cute, smart, funny. I'm sorry, but gas yourself up, you know. But don't force being funny. What? Don't force being funny. Yeah, it's hard, and what is funny to you might not be funny to the admissions people. Like to me, like a TikTok about a cat in a hat is funny. To them, not really. So yeah, number 3 is a humble brag, i.e. you focus on an accomplishment. This is like let me just tell you, these essays, therefore, when I was a child, I used to play with mud, and I used to make like tablets with the mud. I discovered my love for medicine and gardening. I discovered my love for medicine through gardening and through playing with the mud. In high school, I did biology, and I knew I wanted to work in the medical field. I worked in a lab where we discovered the cure for cancer. But deep down, I'm still that child at heart who loves gardening. You see, like this person sneaked in that they cured cancer. There's no cure for cancer, but that's just the example I'm using. The whole essay is about gardening and like their love for medicine and how they are a child and they like gardening. But wameingiza that they worked in a lab. So that's what's called a humble brag. You brag, but like in a humble way. Like, be like, oh, I like working with children. I volunteered at a children's hospital. I created my own NGO that feeds thousands of children. But still at heart, I'm a child and I like children. That's a humble brag. Number 4 is a creativity type of essay. So these essays are usually a bit weird. Like if you write in third person, or some people write in code, or you put like binary text in there. But be careful, creative essays are hard to pull off. I read one where someone wrote about how they are God when they're making art. Like when they're the artist, they are to some extent God. I was like, oh wow. But it was like an amazing essay. So these ones are hit or miss. If you don't have like a wild, crazy idea, it's a bit tricky, but yeah. The next one is a negative experience or a failure essay. So you talk about a way you failed. And this essay, it's good to show personal traits, but be careful, don't be too negative. Like for example, you could talk about how maybe you went for a competition and you thought you were going to win and you are dead number last. But instead of just focusing on your failures, you can talk about what you learned from that, and that's how you make it a bit more personal and a bit more interesting, yeah, so that you're not too negative. And then the last one is a controversial essay about maybe politics, religion, sexuality. These ones are good, but don't force your opinion on the reader. Yeah, if you're going to talk about religion and why religion is a social construct, the person reading your essay might be a devout Christian. Devout, what? And so don't make them feel attacked. Just write be very like neutral. You can talk about how religion is a social construct, but don't talk about it in a way that anyone who believes in a religion feels attacked. Yeah. So those are the types of essays. A few types that you can brainstorm on. Number 3 is brainstorm before you write. Sit down literally for 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3 hours and think about a list of possible ideas. Reflect on meaningful experiences you've had. Reflect on how people in your life have impacted you. Reflect upon who are you? Like, it's a very hard question to answer. Like, who are you? What makes you the way you are? And whether an experience was big or small, yeah? Like, mine was very small. It was just talking Kikuyu, you know? And I never thought it was something that big in my life until I thought about it and I realized how many times it comes up in my life. And you don't have to talk about how you won the Olympics. That's fine if you want to talk about it. But, like, at your essence, who are you? And it's a very hard question. But introspection exercises can be very helpful. Like, just go on Google and be like, introspection exercises. They helped me a lot. And brainstorm. Number 4, know which cards you have and play those cards right. Let me tell you, my cards were, I'm African, I'm female, I'm in STEM, and I have strong academics. Those were my 4 cards. And in my essay, you can see I played my African card and I played my female card by talking about Wangari Maathai and my paternal grandmother. So those are the outside cards I played in my common app. Then in my supplementaries, I played my women in STEM card, I played my academics card. And be careful, don't be too repetitive. Like in every essay, don't be like, I'm African, I'm African, I'm African, I'm African, I'm African, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. Yes, we know you are an African woman, but you don't have to say it all the time, you know. Like spread kidogo kidogo, you know, spread out your cards. Don't play all or nothing in all the essays, yeah. Then next, number 5, which is the last one for before writing, don't write an essay after reading or listening to someone's essay. You will 100% plagiarize it. And this happened to me, and it was unintentional. I listened to someone's, excuse me, oh damn, excuse me. I listened to someone's essay on YouTube, and it was like an essay that got me into Harvard. And I listened to it, and I wrote my common app immediately after listening to that essay. And after reading it, I had 100% plagiarized. I wrote literally almost the same thing, just with my experience. And it's a bit dangerous. It's a bit dangerous. It's a bit dangerous. Don't plagiarize essays. Just don't plagiarize. So after you listen to an essay, or after you read someone's essay, take a break, you know, think about it, think about what you want to write. If your essay is similar, that's fine. There's a difference between similar and plagiarized. So yeah, that's it. So part 2 of this video is tips for while you're writing, like after you've already gotten an idea for when you're writing. I don't know, I'm repeating myself. So number 1, I'll forget the numbers somewhere, so I'll just say next. Don't force issues, okay? If you haven't gone through some type of like trauma, if some type of like abuse, some type of hard situation, you don't have to force it. For me, yeah, when I was thinking about my essay, I think I wanted to write about the 2007-2008 post-election violence in Kenya. And it did affect me to a very small extent because my father is a radical. But like I was only 7 years old, so I'm not saying that you can't have an experience when you're 7 that affects you, but it didn't affect me that much. And the reason I wanted to force it, because I thought I have to have a sub story. So if you haven't gone through any trauma, it's fine. I know sub stories are very effective, but just don't force issues. Just be yourself and write about whatever you want to write about. Next is, you don't need a wow moment, yeah? You don't have to have cured cancer, you don't have to have won Olympics, you don't have to be a genius to have a good narrative, yeah? You just need to reveal something about yourself that makes your personality shine, yeah? That makes you stand out as an applicant. Like, I didn't write about anything like mind-blowing, yeah? And it's fine, I guess it worked to some extent, you see? Don't feel like you have to toot your own horn. That sounds weird. Don't feel like you have to like push your accomplishments into their face. They already know how amazing you are as an accomplished applicant. Just give a good narrative, and it doesn't have to be about a wow moment. Next is, be specific. Be very specific. Use a small experience, yeah, or a common experience, and connect it to larger attributes or the bigger picture that clearly depicts who you are as a person, your contribution to community, your drive, your motivation, etc, 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 etc. So for example, the example I gave, for example, the story I was saying about making medicine out of mud, gardening and making medicine out of mud is a very small thing, and many children do it. Many people play chababa chamama, and you make food with like mud and sand and gravel. But that person took something very small, gardening and playing with mud, connected it to biology, how they love biology, connected it to medicine, connected it to how they want to do lab work and how they've done lab work, and connected it to a bigger picture of the medical field and research and volunteer work and how they're going to contribute to the community. So that's something important, and I think I talked about it in my Colombia essay video. Take something small, connect it to something big about yourself, then connect it to something big about the world. Yes, yes. So that's what I mean when I say be specific, but connect it to a larger picture. Next is, don't feel like you have to summarize your whole life story in 650 words. 650 words is very little to write about 18 years of your life. Just pick a few years, a few months, a few days of your life to talk about that were important. Because out of all the years you've lived, not all the time have you experienced something huge and something life-changing and something important. Just pick a small part of your life and talk about it. Just 1 or 2 experiences. It will be fine. Next, cliche essays work. My essays were hella cringy. Some of them were hella cliche, but they worked because they were well written. So it only works if you write them well. If you want to write about a commonly used topic, for example, you went to a competition and all of a sudden there was a challenge, the power went out, but you and your team worked hard and you called KPLC and KPLC gave you the plug and you turned on the power and you won the competition. Everyone writes about winning a competition, trust me, you know. But make sure, you can write about it, it's fine, but make sure you add personal details that make it stand out. For example, one thing that I read and I really liked was a plot twist. Yeah, somehow, you know, it's the last 5 minutes, you give your team a pep talk, you get onto the court and you lose. That's a plot twist. It was, we saw it coming ish, but it's a plot twist. You know, sometimes you would need to write about losing. You grow more when you lose than when you win. Don't quote me on that, but like, yeah. So sometimes you can write about cliche things, you can write about cringy things, but make sure you write them well. Sawa sawa. Oh my god, did power go? Do I look black? Power just went. I'm going to continue. Okay, I think they're back. They should be back. Let's move on. Next, make your essay as personalized as possible. This is literally, I think, the most important point. Write a deeply personal essay that will form a personal connection with the admissions officer. Yeah. What makes an essay different? Because you can't always have an original idea. What makes an essay different is your personal touch. What you've gone through is very different from what someone else has gone through because of perception. Everyone perceives the world in a different way, and that's what makes us all different, your perceptions. So make sure you make your essay as personalized as possible. Don't be scared to literally open your heart and bleed onto a piece of paper, you know, bleed onto your tablet, bleed onto your computer. This is getting a bit graphic, but personalized essay is everything. Don't assume that people know. Yeah, if you're going to write about something you love or something you hate, like, make it about you. I don't know how I can say this better, but yeah. However, if you're going to write about a topic, for example, sexual abuse or physical abuse, be careful not to make the writer uncomfortable. It's fine if you want to talk about abuse or trauma of any kind because it's your experience and no one can ever take that away from you. But don't make the reader uncomfortable. Have the ability to detach yourself from that experience to some extent and write it with the gift of hindsight. Write it with the gift of, like, detach yourself from that experience. I'm not saying you, like, don't think about it, but just be able to write about it in a way that's emotional, but not emotional in a way that makes the reader uncomfortable. Next, the devil is in the details. Show and don't tell. What? Show but don't tell. Wait, show and tell, don't just tell. What? Okay, so make sure you use all 5 senses in your essay. Smell, touch, sound, sight, whatever. It makes your essay more vivid. Don't just say, I like the song. What song do I like? Jesus, what? Don't just say you like the song Midnight Train by Sauti Sol. Say you like the beats, you like the vibrations, you like the color, you like, you get goosebumps when you listen to it. Say when you close your eyes, you imagine patterns of kikois in your eyes. You know, that was a horrible example, but like, use all the senses to some extent. Like, when you read through your essay, be like, okay, has this evoked sight? Have I used descriptive words of what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling, what I'm touching, what I'm smelling? You know, all those things. Okay, well, smell, fine. I'm just saying, don't just tell them you like Sauti Soul songs. Show them that you like Sauti Soul songs. Show them that you learned the words, you know the you know the vibrations, you dance when you hear it, you play it every morning on your way to school. You know, that's showing them you like the song without actually saying you like the song. Next is be reflective in your essay. Don't just narrate a stream of, no one wants to read a newspaper article in your, okay, well, no one wants to read like a boring narrative. Just be like, oh, I go to school, I went to school. When I went to school, I saw my friend. When I saw my friend, I told her hi. When I told her hi, we went to class. When we went to class, we went home. When I got home, I slept. No one wants to read that, okay? Don't just narrate. Narrate. Be reflective. On my way to school in the bus, as I was thinking of this what that made me what, I was saying, I'm not giving any example, but like, I'm so sorry. Wait. Be reflective. Reflect on what you learned through whatever you've written, what you gained, how you grew, how you didn't grow, how you suffered. Be reflective. Don't just narrate whatever your experience was. Next is, I'm going to go through these ones quickly because they're short and I don't want this video to be dead as 40 minutes long. So next one is, don't use cliche words or terms. Don't waste your words, please. You only have 650 words. Don't write about how the sparkling rays of the gargantuan sun shone through the cloudless azure cerulean blue skies as the birds chirped merrily from the trees and the breeze made the trees sway. Like, are we in class 4? We are not. So imagery is powerful. I'm not saying don't use imagery, but use it well. That is just wasting your words. Sawa. Leave all that primary and high school bullshit behind. Also, avoid overused phrases such as putting your nose to the grindstone, being the change you want to see in the world, burning the candle at both ends. Everyone writes those things. There's this website called Descriptionari. It's a dictionary, and it helped me so much. Just put in like the keyword and then it will bring for you descriptions. Next is write your essay first, then find which prompt fits in later. For me, I just wrote my essay. You have like 7 prompts and one of them is write whatever. So don't worry about the question. Just write an essay, then you can find the prompt that fits in. Next is write first, edit later. So your first few drafts will be trash. Mine definitely were. Your first draft is just meant to put words on paper. It doesn't have to be perfect. So first write the bare bone, then you will add the flesh and the juiciness in later. Tying in with that, don't worry about word count. I know you have 650 words, but for me, I used to write like 1,500 words. Then I would edit because I believe like having more words is better than having less words and trying to force content into the essay. So if you're over or under the word count, don't worry that much about it in your first draft. In your next like couple of drafts, you should aim to be in the word count. Then lastly, be yourself. GK Nyambura said, Jipende bitch. Jipende. If you don't know who Nyambura is, please go and watch her channel. Please, I'll put it in the description box. She's hilarious. So you're amazing, you are intelligent, you are smart, you are gifted, you are beautiful. Just write about that. Literally just bleed onto the paper. Vomit onto the paper. What? I mean vomit words and bleed your heart onto the paper. And let your personality shine through. Don't try and be someone you're not. I tried that for MIT. I tried to act like I'm smart, like I think about nihilism all day. I don't, but I guess it didn't work. And for a school like Caltech, I literally was myself 100% and it worked to some extent. If a family member or a friend reads your essay, they should be able to tell it's you to some extent. And for me, it was quite true. And I used to hate that piece of advice, but honestly, just be yourself. You in yourself are enough. You are worthy. Don't make your worth or your enoughness be about the college you get into or don't get into. So that's my last piece of advice. Be yourself. Jipende bitch. Jipende, you know. Anyway, yes, I hope you like this video. This video. Don't forget to subscribe to a juicy red button down below. If you haven't, I'm sure you can tell I'm like low-key kind of amazing, but if you don't feel like I've convinced you enough, just go and watch my previous videos. They'll convince you. Trust me. And I hope you all have a great day. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video. If you don't be forced to. Just if you do, I would appreciate it. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so again, please subscribe. Feel free to DM me, feel free to email me, feel free to leave a comment asking me a question. I have started school and I'm low-key kind of a little bit struggling, so give me like 3 to 5 business days and I'll get back to you. So let's be gracious, let's be kind, be nice. Okay, thanks, bye. It's raining. Thank God I finished filming. Hey, let's pose for a thumbnail, bitch. Okay, wait, it was down here. This better have filmed.